The scene opens with a haunting and cinematic view of the New York City skyline in the late 1930s, where the Statue of Liberty stands tall against a backdrop of peaceful commerce and towering skyscrapers that represent the pinnacle of modern civilization and the absolute strength of the American dream. But thousands of miles across the dark and cold Atlantic Ocean, in the flickering shadows of the Reich Chancellery, a man named Adolf Hitler stares at a detailed scale model of Manhattan with an obsession that borders on pure madness and a deep-seated hatred for the democratic world. He does not see a city of millions or a hub of international culture, but rather a fragile forest of glass and steel waiting to be ignited by a single spark of Teutonic fire falling from the heavens.
Most people believe the war was fought only on the muddy fields of Europe or the tropical islands of the Pacific, but few realize that since 1937, the Nazi leadership had been dreaming of a day when German wings would cast a terrifying shadow over the streets of Broadway. Hitler is frequently quoted by his inner circle as saying that he wanted to see the skyscrapers of the New York Jews turn into giant burning torches, and that the American people must be made to feel the crushing weight of the German will in their own homes. This was not just a strategic military goal to disrupt supply lines, but a deeply personal and ideological vendetta against a nation he viewed as a degenerate and mixed-race obstacle to his 1,000-year empire.
The camera zooms into the blueprints spread across a heavy oak table in a room filled with the echo of jackboots, where the words Amerika bomber are stamped in bold red ink, marking the birth of a project that many German generals secretly dismissed as a childish fantasy, but which the Führer demanded at any cost, regardless of the resources wasted. Early sketches show monstrous and grotesque aircraft with 6 or even 8 engines that look like something out of a futuristic science fiction novel, rather than a practical machine of war meant for the 1940 era. The air in these high-level meetings is thick with the smell of expensive cigars and the sound of nervous military officials whispering about the impossible physics of flying 6,000 kilometers across the open sea and back without a single stop for refueling.
They knew that the weight of the fuel alone would make the planes too heavy to take off from any existing runway in Europe, yet the fear of the Führer was far greater than the fear of the laws of gravity or the warnings of the engineers, so the order is given to begin a desperate race against time that would eventually lead to the most bizarre and terrifying engineering designs in human history, involving suborbital gliders and giant flying wings. As the music swells with a dark and industrial undertone, we see the transition from the golden lights of a peaceful New York evening to the cold and gray hangars of Augsburg and Dessau, where the first metal skeletons of these giant bombers are being assembled in total secret by men who knew that if they failed, the price would be their lives, or a one-way ticket to the Eastern Front.